Welcome to another episode of Business Roaches, our podcast. I'm Hannah. This is Ariel. We are the sisters and co-founders behind Happy Box. And
Hello.
This is our podcast all about business, entrepreneurship, what it's like running a business, the journey, etc.
And really surviving, because that's the whole thing.
Yeah. Because everyone needs another podcast. So.
Yeah, you guys don't have enough, so.
Okay, so we always start with a question. Mm-hmm. So let's pull a question up. Okay, this is a good one. We talk about this actually kind of a lot. What are your tips on building a great team and culture?
That's hard. Building a team is really hard because, you know, when you're a startup, you're kind of, you're like kind of stuck with with people who want to be in a startup,
or your friends and family,
which is never a good idea. It's just
you say that, but we're sisters running a company.
We're sisters running a company, and my brother-in-law is currently our producer. So
don't listen to us.
So don't listen to us, but it's difficult. It's not that it's impossible, it's that it's difficult. And I think we get a lot of people who are trying to transition roles, right? Like they come from, I'm making it up, like a finance background, but they've always been interested in operations, or they were a waiter and they want to do data analytics.
Yeah.
So we just get a lot of that. So you just have to be really careful when you're hiring. You need to make sure, first and foremost, that the role can be accomplished. That's like the most important thing, because let me tell you something. Nothing is worse for culture than someone who's not doing their job or doing it poorly. So I think, like, I know it sounds like obvious, but just really make sure you have the right hire for the role, for the work that needs to be done first and foremost. Next, I think culture fit is like so important.
Yeah.
Because everyone wears so many hats. I mean, when you are a startup and a founder, anything really, like you don't have an ego. Like we've done every part of our business from the ground up, and we would do it again. Like we would, we'd go pack boxes. We do that. We help however we can. So
we sweep, and clean the fridge.
Yeah, we do everything. So I think it's really important everybody has that attitude for our business specifically.
Yeah. I think what's so interesting is there's like this contradictory advice. Like if you talk to advisors, they're like, or like someone who's like more seasoned and like more, I don't know, who's been in a more established kind of corporate business for a while, they'll be like, hire smarter than you. But when you're a startup, you can't afford smarter than you. Like you just can't. So it's like this, you're in this like catch-22 of like, okay, I'm supposed to hire for people who have skills that I don't have, but I can't really like afford that talent right now. So like, what do you do? What did we do? I mean, like,
I think we're talking also early stages. Like we're at a stage right now that we're hiring like experts in their field, which is really nice.
How long to get there? Like when you're starting a business, unless you have funding, so that's like kind of a little different, right?
Yeah.
Like
we're
had
bootstrapped.
Yeah, when you have no funding, you really do have to kind of rely on the friends and family. They kind of got us to where they did. They got our parents, our husbands, like we
still rely on them.
Yeah, but like they got us to where we were. I think you have to, again, back to like the theme of our podcast, survival, right? Like you do what you can to get there, and then the moment you can afford the person smarter than you, they will pay off.
Yeah.
They will pay dividends.
They do.
It's just you can't afford that right away. So it's this weird thing because you're always told hire who, not how. And like you can't do that in the beginning.
It's true. It's just hard.
The beginning is really, really
hard. And that
hard.
First one, when you're hiring that first person that is supposed to return, that's a very scary
it like unlocks stuff too.
Oh my God.
When they're the right person.
Oh yeah. We have I'm not even kidding, like we have such an incredible team right now that like years to build and also like recognize that like you really do need the right hire, and that starts with the role. And then no one can have an ego at Happy Box. No one can have an ego at a startup, because you're going to end up doing stuff that you like you did not sign up for, but we're in this inevitable position that you kind of need someone to do this role. So I think the most important thing, and you do this really well in interviews, is you're like, this is a startup. Like, this is like, we might ask you to do stuff that is like a little just outside your either not comfort zone, but something that is not on this job description. We need you to be okay with that. So it's never like going to get laundry. It's nothing like that. It's just
a small business is scrappier no matter what, and you're going to have to do stuff outside of your job description. So I think the other thing that is interesting that one of our mentors told us once, which I thought was really true, because we've been back and forth in this round, or this kind of
the 10 people.
Rodeo 10 people mark. Before 10 people, you can have an awesome culture and you can kind of control it all as like an owner. the minute
and
it's
drive
over,
the culture
and people really want to like make you happy, and like they just, I don't know, there's
they're
something
with
different.
Founders.
Yeah, they're like
different.
It's your, I don't want to say you're like a family because everyone hates that, but that, not that you're like a family, but you're like a great team, you're a dream team.
Yeah.
And then the minute it becomes like more than 10, things can get weird, meaning you lose sight of what's actually happening. And this happened to us, and we were told that like there was some toxicity going on. We were told that an employee, this years ago, like was really toxic and making people feel uncomfortable. We had no idea.
Like we interviewed this person, loved them, and had this like rosy picture of them, but you know, they're not only interacting with us, they're interacting with each other.
And they put on a show with us.
I think that's the difference. Like, you know, we had, you can have 10 direct reports, like especially with 2 founders, you can definitely do that. More than that, you're kind of outsourcing a little bit, and the management, and then it gets a little dicey. You have to make sure that like there is no toxicity, because that, I mean, that'll
it poisons
tank
the team.
Yeah. So I think that's,
I think that 10-person rule I always think of, because it's true. And then the other thing that I find really interesting, I read an article, I don't know, yesterday, about, there's like a workplace culture study that goes out every year, like by Gallup, and they were talking about loneliness. And one of the factors, and this has been said like a lot, one of the reasons people stay with companies is if they have friends at those companies, if they have personal relationships and they don't feel lonely at their job. If you feel lonely, or you feel like you don't have like someone to go to, then you don't. And this whole article was saying, since COVID, it's been a big challenge, because you naturally are going to feel lonelier. And so what do companies do? Like, what do you do? Like, so, I mean, I'm trying to think of the things we do. I mean, we try to be on camera sometimes with each other, but we don't want to pressure people, because that's one of the benefits of working from home.
I think we just listen to what's important to our employees.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the biggest thing. I think, like, you have to work with people and what their living situations are, and what they, you know, we're hiring humans, and they have different families dynamics, and they want different things. Some people want the flexibility of, hey, I'm going to sign on and off during the day, but I promise I'll get all my work done. And it's just, to us specifically, it's about working how your employees want to work. We're not so strict about like 9 to 5 on all the time. Cameras not, like, that's not us, but we do expect the work to get done. So I think every company, every role demands something different. So we kind of try and make sure that we find the right fit for that role. I think that's how you like make the culture good, right? If someone is enjoying that, they maybe sign off exactly at 5 p.m. so that they can do XYZ, that's cool. That's for them, and that we can work around that. But I think flexibility is so important, and just making sure that honestly your employees are like happy, because you know, we're never like, we don't say happy box as a family. I think that's very weird when people say that.
No, we're a team. We're like
it's a really great team that we all, like, no one's curing cancer here. Like, for us, we're a gifting company. Like,
it should be fun.
It should be fun.
It should be enjoyable.
It's literally called Happy Box. Like,
if it's not happy,
it's called Happy Box. We try and make a culture that we want to be a part of.
I think something we talk about a lot too, that someone, I guess not a mentor, but someone who I really respect in the workplace said to me once, find out how people are motivated. Like, some people are motivated by money, some by title, some by autonomy. So people are motivated very differently. And I think the minute that you take the time to understand how people are motivated, and we have flat out asked our team too that, like rank what do you care about, so we understand when we are rewarding you, what are the things you care about? Because
80% of the time it's money.
Yeah, but autonomy is a big one. Flexibility is a big one. We have a team that is going through some life stuff, and like, you need some flexibility for that. So I think it's hard as a founder, as hard especially as a startup, to take the time to manage people in this way. Not like manage like your performance, but like actually think about how are we building a team that actually wants to go to work for you.
I think too, one thing that people really overlook is the power of recognition, and just making sure that people are feeling appreciated for the work. And it's so funny because like I think every founder appreciates their hires. Like, I think that,
oh my God, you have to.
I mean, you want to work for me?
Yeah, you're just happy someone's doing it with
like,
you.
Are you sure? I think the nicest thing I've heard in the past, you know, we have a couple new hires, and I asked how it's going. I'm like, how are you liking the work? And she said, you know, the work is the work, but I really believe in the company. And I almost cried, because I was like, that is like the highest compliment that you could pay any founder is like, I like what you've built. I like what you're building. And I'm just like, oh my God. Yeah, that was a great idea. And like, it doesn't suck to be here. Because
work is work.
It's work. I mean, like, we all have to do it. Like, you know, if we didn't, we'd, you know, be at a pool somewhere.
Still waiting for our trust fund, Mom.
Just kidding. In our 30s, let's go. But yeah, I think that was like the biggest compliment I could have ever received as a founder. and something you lose sight of. So making sure that you're showing that recognition, showing that appreciation for the work that they're doing. And I'll tell you what, like the more recognition you show, the more people are willing to show up for you. And it's this beautiful cyclical thing. And I think also, I mean, Simon Sinek always says it, like there's so many mistakes people make, and it's really important as a founder or any sort of manager, like how you react to those mistakes it's so important. It's so important. You can either be toxic and like terrible and, you know, just come down like a hammer, or you can do the opposite and inspire and show how things should work and really, you know, encourage better workflows or better systems and recognize where your role in that is. Yeah. I think that's what we do really well. I mean, everybody makes mistakes at Happybox, us all the time, like every day. I think the way that we come at those mistakes is really important and just drives the culture. So people know that they can come to us and say, hey,
I messed up, or like, I don't know how to handle this.
I think that's okay.
The other thing that I thought was really interesting, I only learned like recently, or not learned, I guess it wasn't something to learn, but Heather from Growing Mindset Therapy, she was talking about, she does corporate therapy basically. Shout out Heather. And she was saying, she's like, you have to also remember that people have like a whole life going on. Like employers expect you to be 100%, but like there are days where you're going to be 60% because your kid is sick, or you have a parent that's sick, or something else is happening in your life that you can't be that 100%. And I think employers have to recognize that. You have to, not only to be human, but that's how you're going to like have a productive team. Your team, if you recognize that someone has 60%, okay, lay off them a little bit, because they will make it up to you if they see that you're laying off on them. If you're like giving them the time that they need to go do a doctor's appointment or go take care of their kid, they will respect you and they will work harder. So I think that's like, people forget that because it's so like, especially where mine in Manhattan, like hustle culture is like rampant. I think you have to just again, back to flexibility and stuff. But I thought that was an interesting way of seeing it, because I've always heard about that in other scenarios, but for work, I never really thought about it that way. It's true. There are days you don't sleep well and you're at 80%, not 100%.
So to drive culture, just like be a human being.
Be flexible.
Be flexible. Offer your employees something that is important to them. I think that is really clutch. And you'd be surprised how little it is. Like it's not like, you know, Wednesday's off. It's like, hey, like you've been crushing it.
I want to go for a walk midday or something.
Like it's not something crazy. If you just try and figure it out for your team. I think that's like the biggest thing. And, you know, don't let your team walk all over you, of course, but just, you know, be human and hire normal people who are nice. Hire nice people. Don't hire assholes.
No one with an ego. All right. We are going to talk about our win of the week. We always say the win of the week because being an entrepreneur is hard, and we have to celebrate every little win, even if it's microscopic, because sometimes there are no wins for a really long time. So we have to celebrate.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have a win of the week that we could
honestly talk about? I think what our new hire said was like, definitely, it was this past week she said it, and I was like, that is the nicest thing. That's a huge win.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining. Submit questions via DM at Happybox on Instagram, and we'll hear from you soon.